So I've got those 12 cut. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera, but I'm going to try to do this here. So these are all my numbers. And basically what I got is the tread is 10.5 inches. Each of the treads, like the tread depth where you actually place your foot, 10.5. And I think what I'm going to go with is the bull nose at the end of the steps. And I think I'm going to make that about a 1/2 inch overhang, which means each of these will be 11 inches. So 10.5 is the actual tread that the stringer has. That's that side piece that goes up that I'll be cutting the little notches, zigzags into. So those 12 steps, each one of those will be 11 inches with the little rounded edge that sticks out just a little bit to give it a nice finish. So that's what I'm going to do next, because these are not perfect. Obviously they're rough cut. The thickness is about 1.5 inches, and I'm debating at this point because I want the thickness to stay as close to 1.5 inches as possible. So what I'll probably end up doing, I'll square off, because these from this end to that end, I squared those so those are parallel to each other, and they're 35 inches across. So now I'm going to square off of this and come out and get me one real nice clean edge with the saw, and then I can use the table saw to get me the other side, because the end I cut with the circular saw by hand won't be perfect. Unfortunately, it'll have little inconsistencies here and there. But if I use the table saw to do the second side over here, then what that'll do is give me a really as close to perfect as I can get with that. And that'll be the side that I then end up using the router to round off that top end. And then this back side that I cut with the circular saw, even if it's not exactly perfect, the riser will actually go on top of that once it's all done, and you won't see any of the little minor inconsistencies here. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody or not, but that's what I'm doing. So here we go. So this is where having tools like a planer or jointer planer setup would be nice, but I don't have that. So I'm getting this real close to a nice square cut. If you look on this end here, see it's beveled out that way a little bit. All of them are like that because these cuts, They were made with the chainsaw when I did this chainsaw mill. So those outer cuts are real rough and real crooked. But what I'm doing is now I'm squaring these ends along with the cuts that I made, because those two ends are real close to parallel. And then I'm cutting the one side. And then that'll be my guide side when I put this on the table saw. And I'm actually going to end up going, if I can get away with it, I'm going to go with 12 inches for my step. There it is. So Mrs. Howell is now, after we finish sanding all 12 of them, there she goes. So now we are basically getting all the dust off, wiping them down with a little bit of mineral spirits just to make sure all the dust and any potential junk that's on there is off. And then they come over here to dry out a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 7 more to still do.
Hey, did you give the backstory about the steps, where they came from?
No, not yet. We'll talk about where we got them from. We did cut them on the sawmill from a big old tree that Henry had cut down. But actually, I think there's a video I made of hauling all that wood back over here. Last year, there was a big tree that our neighbor up the road had when they got their power put in. And it had several big logs. He wanted them cleared out of his yard, so we took all the brush pile and the logs, and then I used the sawmill to turn them into lumber. And that's where all of these came from. Basically, these would be 2 by 14, and then I cut them down a little bit to where their actual dimension ends up being right around 12. 2 by 12. It's like 1.5 inches by 12. So yeah, that ended up being nice having that, and we were able to make it all from big old tree that got cut down and all the way down to process to these steps. Got them sanded. And now, once Mrs. Howell is done getting them all cleaned up, actually, while she's still working on those, I might be able to go grab the stain and get started on that first one that she did.
My only question is, are the other 1, 2, 3, 4? They're not gonna fit on that. That might hold 2 more.
Yeah, that'll get 2 more.
I could put them. I could put one here.
Actually, yeah, we can clear it off the table saw, and you can put 2 on there. Bam! I'll get that cleared off.
You never did post our chicken house clean out video.
No, I didn't get that all put together yet. I got to go through that, and I got some other stuff I got to figure out how to put it together for a video.
That takes time. We're too busy right now.
Yeah. I'll probably do it here one of these days.